The City of Salzburg, 2013. London, Gatwick Airport, 2011. He took us to a small airport hotel, or at a place where people can rent a room by the hour, to stay in while they are waiting for their connecting flights. It's called a hotel. It reminded me of, or I thought it was, some sort of a space station. I thought I had walked into a movie set inside the airport. Of course, the whole airport was set in the reality game. The lighting was weird. I called it Hotel Yorba. Maybe you know the lyrics of the song. Let's get married in a big cathedral by a priest, 'cause if I'm the man that you love the most, you can say I do at least. All of this fitted perfectly to my misconception. In this place, it is one of the most religious moments I ever had. Although I do not believe in God, the complete darkness of my mind has almost never been so dark. Still, now the memory of it makes me warm. He put on the television and we watched it. It was not a warm family time. My head was chaos, and he of course did not know what was going on. He just knew that something was wrong, and he was afraid. Lying in the submarine bed at the hotel, I had this book with me. I remember looking at it very closely. The cover is blue with white letters, and golden thorny pattern twisting all around. The Book of Lost Things. My mind was fluttering too much, so I could not read the book. Well, I did not read it from page 1 and onwards like you normally read a book, but I still derived meaning from it. At some point I was totally oblivious and happy, like a small child or a blushing bride-to-be. I was convinced he had the wedding ring in his pocket and was about to propose. This was also the time when I started to get messages from televisions. Some children's show about England's farm life or the alphabet suddenly had this big, profound meaning. My whole life was rolling before me, preparing me for that big moment. It was like a documentary about my life that asked existential questions. My daughter was restless, and so was I. I wanted the game to keep on going. I had received the book as a Christmas present from my father-in-law. Well, not in-law, we are not married. I was very happy with the book. It felt like a very thoughtful present. He had ordered it online, and I felt it was exactly the book I had always wanted, without realizing it. When I was packing at home before the trip, I was obsessed with all sorts of meanings. We also had small suitcases, so I decided that this was the one book I could take with me. I remember me blabbing about this with my brother-in-law. He probably did not understand anything I was saying. I don't really either. He probably just understood something was wrong, for I was in fact very ill at the time. I thought because we were waiting for our flight, it would be a good idea to read and make the time pass that way. I was anxious, and although I derived all this meaning from the cover and the cover pages, I could not seem to get further than a page with quotes on them from Picasso and Schiller. Words about the author of the book suddenly applied directly to my situation. And me as a person. I knew it had been no coincidence that this book had been taken with us on the trip. When I looked at the picture of the author, I realized that he was not only the author of the book, but also the author of the game. Before we went on the trip, I had painted my nails with red nail polish. It was for my solo exhibition. Me and my daughter had a nice moment where we painted our nails the same colors. One had red, one hand purple. At the hotel there was little left of it, but red nail polish on 3 fingers on the left hand. The pinky, the ring finger, and the middle finger. Of course, mine had no ring. If I rolled my index finger and thumb together to make a circle or a ring, the rest of the fingers on that hand were like a crown, with the red nail polish as precious gems. He went out to get something to eat. First he went alone and left me and the girl by ourselves. "Do not leave," he begged. After a moment he came back and took the girl with him. When he left me all alone. He turned off the light and told me to get some sleep. He told me not to leave while he was away. I have never been so afraid in my life. Of course, I did not know what was going on either. I was not even there. This was a part of a game. He had left me in the purgatory. I screamed at him not to leave me with tears in my eyes. The darkness in my mind was total. I knew I had to say it out loud, admit all my wrongdoings in front of everyone. Although I was alone in the complete darkness of my mind and the darkness of the hotel surrounding me, I knew of the cameras. I knew they were watching me. I lay in the complete darkness of the room, thinking he had left me for good, thinking he was leaving me in the darkness so I would think about all the bad things I had done. This was a test of my strength, emotional and mental strength. I stood up from the bed with tears in my eyes. I was going to come out of the cleansing fire on the good side. I took off my clothes and stepped into the shower. I turned on the water. Everything you imagine is real. I touched every wound, every mole, every scar, and all unwanted facial or body hair, knowing that the cameras were watching me and they would heal the things that were wrong. I molded my breasts in the shape I wanted them to be. When I would go out of the shower, I would start my life again with clean slate, and the water was flowing over me. As it was flowing over me, I could feel its healing power. The cameras were watching me. I knew I could make all my faults and shortcomings disappear. As I was trying my body, I knew everything was right again. The wedding and the proposal would happen. When I would go back to the bed, laying on it would be gifts from my relatives. My soon-to-be father-in-law would give me an iPhone. I would get a beautiful wedding dress and shoes, and in the big pile of gifts, there it would be, hidden amongst the other things, the wedding ring.